Good evening, my beautiful bastards. Today I will be speaking to all of your subscribers about my inactive channel recently. I was hit with a copyright strike by you know who, Raka Ali, the guy who's the king of all comedies on YouTube right now, who's leading into the charge against the media, mainstream media, and destroying political, social justice dissidents. So yeah, I had to clear that up because that was an unfair copyright strike on my channel, and I uh tried to repeal the copyright, but I lost because of YouTube's appeal system. And so yeah, I just left that there, and until recently, yesterday, I got confirmation from Raka now the the draft of the copyright strike has been lifted. Okay, well, at what cost? A cost of my non-profit and activism video, where there might be ads appear on my video for Raka's liking. So basically, Raka controls my video now from 3 minute 28 to 5 minute 25 because I shoot footage and some little noise about Raka. So yeah, it's been copyrighted. So I just give you now this notice right now about my content disclaimer because some of my opinions are really hypercritical of people. So please be aware. And at times, the sarcasm might not get to you. So the satire in some of my videos has become so convoluted that people really disliked me as a YouTuber and wanted me to just do some lusty stuff. I don't want to talk about that anymore. So let's get on to the video. Yeah, it's about me reading an article. It might seem wrong, but I hope we don't get any type of trouble. Okay, so this video will be talking about how the honey controversy regarding vegans, and I thought it was interesting if I could share this with you from a Thousand Beasts blogger channel by, oh, pardon me, the beekeeper culture. Yeah, from the USA, of course. So yeah, let's get on with it. I'll start with this. Why are vegans wrong? October 22, 2016. Clear some throat. I have a vegan acquaintance. He is a mild, considerate, and genuinely pleasant young man. He thinks that beekeeping is cruel and inhumane. He tells me that honey eating encourages theft and abuse and imprisonment and exploitation of insects. Sounds like a naturalist to me. Lol. Tell me more, I said. That wasn't in the text, you know. That was me just reacting to this guy's beliefs that eating honey is actually causing bees to be imprisoned, to be imprisonment, exploitation, and of insects. Oh my days. Okay, so here I say, next paragraph. Vegans, my friend told me, feel that if you eat honey, you harm the environment and you injure your health. I think that my friend and others like him make these false statements because they don't know how honey is made nor how bees are kept. Such narrow thoughts give reasonable vegetarians a bad name. Much misinformation rooted in an almost cult-like adherence to dogma created by the Reverend Donald Watson. By the way, let me tell you guys, Donald Watson is the original first founder of veganism. Yeah, he was the founder of the vegan movement. Next subheading, Godlike, Don Watson leads the way. 75 years ago, Don Watson invented the word vegan and constructed much of the philosophy that goes with it. Mr. Watson was a very, very nasty man. Whether he hated the plant kingdom or just didn't know any better is up for debate, but he savagely attacked plants of all sorts. Biggest hypocrisy than vegans might have today. His profession was teaching woodworking. He encouraged untold thousands of British youngsters to destroy stately trees, many 100 years old. By the way, when he says stately trees, he's talking about the British trees in Britain, where back then the state used to own the public trees outside, which is in America seems, oh no, the state controls all your trees. That is just unbelievable. It's so Orwellian. Yeah, so Orwellian. I can't do a good American accent. Sorry, guys. Okay, so yeah, here we go. Yeah, just clear that up. He inspired them to cut down living denizens of forests, strip off the bark, rip into the heart with power tools, then hammer nails through their defiled bodies. He showed people how to turn beautiful elms, oaks, and maples into bookshelves and graduate trees upon which to set their bottoms on, which seems to be rather counterintuitive here. And let me show you one of the images that's from Museum of London. This seems to be a tangible. You will see. This is the head of a Shepperton woman that's reconstructed from Britain, because now they talked about British people. I will be talking some bit about Britain as a whole. This is from 3640 AD, the 3000 to 3100 BC. I mean BC, yeah. So this is the pre-Mesolithic. Oh, sorry, pre-myth, pre-myth, pre-Mesolithic era. Okay, I can't pronounce it. Never mind. Um, era. And back then, humans, you know what? They ate meat. They hunted. They were hunter-gatherers and farmers at times. They grew wheat. They didn't care about gluten intolerance back then. Back then, food was scarce, and genetically modification wasn't commonplace. And agriculture wasn't as advanced as we have today, dudes. And and here we have a situation where we, the humans, our ancestors, have been relied on hunting, gathering, and meat for so long that we have actually forgotten that vegetarians and vegans, who themselves proclaim to be most superior people on the planet of their diets, just see themselves as above humans genetically. So they will give us sources of like scientific or pseudoscientific peer-reviewed studies, which are mostly cherry-picked studies, to support their agenda and their ideology, that is Donald Watson's veganism. That's where it's funded today, on the dissolution of history, of the history of our ancestors. While people may see the vegans who triumph veganism as the naturalist or the evolution of Darwin's ideas to a more civilized humanity, are missing the point, really. And here you see, back then we used to gather a lot of even bees to produce honey. So back then people eat honey, and for some reason, from vegans' logic, honey is terrible for your health because of this painting. I will just come to you. Back then, these kind of trees in China, especially also in Japan. These trees were really common. Used to have holes where they used to place tiny nests of bees there to produce honey. Yeah, it seems the best place to place your bee nest, but conveniently, the artists do not put in or draw in any of the nests because back you see below there's some of the looking like froggies were actually like back then the art was really restricted on what you could depict. So yeah, so for the like the holes back then, like trees are like exactly like this, the holes are so transparent. Before they would be filled with mostly by humans who care for bees, farmer bees, bee farms, for the primitive bees, and I mean primitive farmers back then from the actually not the pre-Mesolithic era, from the beginning of agriculture after the pre-Mesolithic era. You have farming with wheat, and later on it slowly drives the bee production. Bee concentration grew because of human cultivation supporting the bees in a mutual benefit scenario, where bees are given the opportunity to connect nectar at a shorter space of time because when humans understood how to grow flowers and trees, they made sure that the flowers will grow closer to the trees where the nests were held. They do not directly original bee farms. They weren't enclosed like today. They were really open, and I really like it because it was free roam for the bees to go anywhere, and at night they will all go home. It's like a bee house, beehive. I mean beehive. Um, yeah, it's a beehive stuck in the tree. But you see, back then humans, because of this evolutionary mastery in agriculture, we have these abilities to cultivate honey. And if we lose the ability to cultivate honey, bees will die. If bees do not get the honey to be cultivated, what are they going to be used for? Grow more trees. Of course, they're going to use it to grow more trees because a lot of trees, cellulose, also have essential properties that honeys provide. So the pollen collected from the flowers and also near the stigma are the pollen flakes, and they get connected and harvested in the beehive. And when humans take away the beehive nest, that is considered exploitation. Where when humans protect the tree where the bees are kept there, the early humans protect the trees where the bees are care for them in their hives. Not so much. We care for them outside of the hives. So yeah, and here we have this situation. Vegans claim that we humans weren't evolved to eat honey. But why is it the case that beetles, other insects, are now to consume honey? Then isn't that inequality and complete hypocritical bias? Okay, so here we go. Um, 70 to 50 years ago, Don Watson invented the word vegan constructed. Yeah, I said all that. Okay, so if it's as if Watson, the first vegan, had no clue that plants he encountered were living, breathing monuments to the diversity of nature. Agreed, they don't breathe oxygen the same way we do, but does that give Watson and his minions the excuse? I'm putting my words into this. The rights. Okay, basically, I said excuse, but in actual fact, I mean to say the right to recklessly consume plants. Okay, here's the thing. Breath or oxygen the way that we do. Does that give Watson as minions the right to recklessly consume plants? With a question mark, of course. Pardon. Rather than taking sustenance from animals such as bees, which aren't killed in the process of honey making and which help non-hurt plants. Watson rejected honey. Watson rejected honey because he did not profit or get anything exploited from taking away honey. Yeah. But I put my words into this even more now. So yeah, that's just some backstory I wanted to give you guys. So instead, Watson encouraged boiling the seedy offspring of wheat and shredding the greenery of lettuce and then eating it. Plants are defenseless, something that vegans do not understand. Plants' lives matter. They can't run, they can't sting. To suggest that it's more ethical to consume plants instead of honey is fa- fa- farcical, farcis- farcical, disingenuous, and wrong. Most plants are still alive when they enter a vegan's mouth. As disgusting as this is, it's doubly disheartening that these same people pretend to subscribe to a superior lifestyle and tell others to shun honey. Yeah, that's the thing. Smug vegans. Vegans who are smuggish like Mick the Vegan and snobbish Richard the Vegan Gaines. Isn't a coincidence these YouTube bullies who are mostly American. I'm not saying all Americans are bullies, but a lot of the YouTubers are bullies. I mean the big YouTubers, like those with the monopoly on the use of violence, largely because of largely because of Watson's philosophy. Vegans claim the ethical high ground. Because of Watson, honey is strictly forbidden, like how in Sunni Islam people are forbidden to eat pigs. Yeah, that puts in some interpreted inside. Okay, when I say about that, I'm not trying to shun away from Sunnis. I'm not supposed to either way because I see everyone as an equal opportunity to us. Yeah, I can understand opposition to concrete zoos, factory farms with warehouse pigs, and chickens caged in tiny pens. That makes sense. Yeah, they are obviously ethically wrong. But when Watson wrote the rules, his enthusiasm for the rights of all living creatures except plants outdistanced his common sense. Some vegans seem to venerate Watson as a god, something that would probably have amused the deceased agnostic. So I expect to get some vicious email from these Jinto people. I think these so-called Jinto people are actually unreasonable virtue signalers. My interpretation again. Why bully people with a different opinion? Okay, that's a message to you vegans. Other than that, Watson hadn't bothered to understand the way bees are actually cared for by millions of backyard beekeepers. About bees. Oh yes, that's the truth. Bees are mutually benefit to humans. You know why? Bees can stung the humans. If the beekeeper get annoyed that hits a bee, the bee can cause so much pain to the beekeeper as a retaliation of stealing the bee, stealing the beehives, stealing the beehives honey. Okay, about bees. Subheading 2. Unlike plants, bees can defend themselves against wanton abuse. Well done, well done, well done. Most hobby beekeepers would never kill a single bee. That's true. That's what I'm saying. That's what I imply. Bees are absolutely free to free range over kilometers of wildflowers. Bees return each night to the hives, which are boxes that keep bees safe, dry, and warm. If they didn't want to return, they wouldn't. But time after time, they come back to the beekeepers' boxes. Beekeepers have experimentally placed empty beekeepers' boxes alongside trees. Bees select the boxes as their preferred homes, but bees can leave whenever they want. The fuzzy photo of the left shows wild combs hanging in a birch tree. It looks dark, you can't see it on the because it's so muffy. Other than that, but it looks similar to the Chinese paintings you see. Yeah, back then Chinese painters like something looks so dark, they wanted to put a light in the end of the tunnel. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic here, or satirical regarding with the muzzy photo when it should be fuzzy photo. Satirical, muzzy, French, du français. Okay, this was built by bees which died of exposure. I took the picture in Pennsylvania years ago. I wish I had found them in time to put them into a safe, dry, warm bee box where they would have survived and flourished on their own, subject to cold and rain, that died. Bees produce thousands of grams of honey during a season, but beekeepers remove just a fraction of it in exchange for giving the bee a safe home. Beekeepers don't take all the bees' honeys, as I've read on various vegan sites, because if they did, the bees would die. Dead bees are not the beekeeper's objective, so dead trees are certainly a woodworker's objective. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the funniest thing is regarding vegans objectivity and objectivism of vegans. They sound so utterly mirroring and parallel the ANCAPs, the anarcho-capitalists. And they say that capitalism is voluntary when in fact it's forced wage slavery in the workhouses, in the factory workhouses, the mill workhouses, and in the general banks. Okay, some vegan websites name that. Oh, sorry, I went off again now. My head. Bees produce thousands grams of honey during the season, but beekeepers remove just a fraction of it in exchange for giving the bees a safe home. Beekeepers don't take all the bees' honey, as I've read on various vegan sites, because if they did, the bees would die. Dead bees are not the beekeeper's objective. Yeah, so dead trees are certain woodworkers. Some vegans websites name it that beekeepers feed sugar and corn syrup to bees. Some vegan websites said that beekeepers feed sugar and corn syrup to bees, which the vegans correctly tell us are not healthy as honey. Yeah, they're right. It's not as healthy as honey because they're human man-made. Not all man-made are disgusting. So those complaints, or basically plural complainants, should learn. Okay, sorry, not plural. I missed the word. It's uh, la those complainants should learn something about ecology. There are seasons when honeybees can't find food on their own. Even in sunny Florida, where I worked alongside bees for 10 years, thirsts happen in midsummer when citrus trees, gulberry, palmetto, and pepperbush aren't in bloom. Without a friendly beekeeper feeding the bees will die. Now I live in Canada here. After 7 months of cold and ice each year, hives often run short of food in April. Without flowers, bees die, so beekeepers feed them. Without beekeepers, there would be no honeybees in Western Canada. That is what I'm saying. Like back in the past, humans in the past had a mutual benefit with bees. The mutual advantage where humans grew nearby flourishing lavenders in especially France and in southern eastern England, where you have traces of old extinct flower types which were grown near beehives of used could be dufos, or basically an Anglo-Saxon language for farmers, bee farmers. Is honey healthy? Vegans tell us that honey is healthier than sugar or corn syrup. Uh, yeah. Yet they also claim that honey is not healthy for people. Yeah, I had a struggle to read that because That is just changed my whole acceptation of some vegans. I just feel like I'm really devastated by the fact that vegans been lying to me for so long with the cognitive dissonance. They mostly and essentially claim, taught by this article, that honey is not healthy for people. Okay, let's remind them that honey is actually a healthy food. Bees collect nectars from trees. The nectar is sucrose plus some fructose and glucose. Bees continue the job that flowers started. Use an enzyme to convert nearly all the disaccharide sucrose into simpler monosaccharides, fructose and glucose. These simpler sugars are much better for the diets of bees and humans, bears and raccoons, badgers and other mammals. Honey is healthier because it is a healthy sugar people can eat. Certainly the least environmentally intrusive. If honey is healthy, why do vegans say it's not? While making such an unfounded claim that the bloody vegans always do, especially with the Richard with the vegan gains. Eat plant food will make you have muscles. Stupid, so stupid. They don't consider other people kind of genetic makeup and certain diets which is more beneficial to them than veganism. For example, the paleo diet and the ketogenic diet. In short, honeybees are free to leave the beekeepers. They are already liberated, but without beekeepers, billions of honeybees would die, which I guess is a fate more acceptable to some vegans. So vegans wanted to protect insects, animals, but paradoxically, they harm them. They deny the bees access to welfare in this case. The welfare has been the beekeepers. So vegan claims against honey as food are self-serving and unfounded. And yet, many all vegans websites advise against eating honey. Even if honey were the healthiest food on the planet, there's still no reason for a vegan to consume it. That's a quote from the website by the author. Since this was a veganism site, alternatives are suggested, and those alternatives will find the real Achilles heels of veganism. On this page, you will find approved alternatives to honey. These include coconut sugar and molasses. Want to really hurt the environment or kill animals? Then do what the vegans recommend, that use coconut sugar and molasses. Have it processed in a food factory and shipped halfway around the world to reach you. Food, processed foods. Vegans silently support processed food, most degrading of all of the organic diet they seem to portray in a whole food diet environment. Even though with the flax seeds, a vegan wants you to eat plants, of course, but unless vegans are incredibly naive and have no clue at all about farming. Yes, I want to tell you guys, vegans wanted to get rid of agriculture entirely. They want people to starve across the world. They want to create this new world order. Or about they have no clue all about farming. Vegan missed the point that trillions of insects, from worms to beetles, die in the production of the rice and barley syrup, and the beet and cane sugar which they think you should eat. Farmers must rip through the soil and control insects that will eat their crops. They dislodge mice and lizards to make way for the cane and beets that will end up as molasses. The pursuit of coconut sugar has led to deforestation and death for millions of animals and endangering okay, for me I would say that death for millions of animals can be interpreted as endangering millions of species across the world, which seems really anti-science. because they call themselves the naturalists when in fact they are actually against the naturalist preservation of beaks and the animals and our ancestors legacies with our contact to nature. So basically the vegans want us to be removed from nature. They want humans to be removed from nature. And I know that some produce foods either way. They're still getting the okay, yeah. I know that some hope they pretend they are buying ethically produced food, but too often they're simply buying secular indulgences to assuage their conscience. They're still getting food that required the death of insects, sometimes mammals, and these substitutes are produced on the other side of the globe, while honey can be purchased locally, greatly reducing the environmental footprint. Yeah, it's funny how the vegans, especially Mike the vegan, the biggest moronic bully of them all, just degrade human beings, condescending way, talking about how you're promoting too many carbon footprints and maybe you should consider yourself to be the person to be removed from this planet, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's a caricature of these vegans. Yeah, only honey can be produced without harming or killing animals. Yet vegans refuse to concede this because it will go against the tribal allegiance to the philosophical proclamations of Donald Watson, regardless of how wrong he might have been on some points. No free passes. That's so much sense to write. I was no free passes. I was a vegetarian for over a year, and you were healthy, energized year. I was not vegan. I was a vegetarian. I will eat honey, use a little cheese and milk in some veggie dishes. Today I eat fish in a social setting. I might eat other meat, but sparingly. I think it's smart for the environment and healthy for the body to eat a wide variety of foods, but only a little or no meat. It's certainly healthier for the livestock. However, jealous vegans drive away potential vegetarians. Vegan hypocrisy is a turnoff that has probably resulted in a bigger backlash against animal rights and against reasonable vegetarianism that has resulted in new membership in the vegan fan club, just like the Rick and Morty fan club. For that, I hold the woodcutter Don Watson and some of his followers responsible. Noah gave a free pass to all beekeepers everywhere. It's true that some beekeepers' hobby is a commercial, aren't as careful with bees as they need to be. That's what the vegans told us when they raised their concerns. But most are not reckless, and I've never met any beekeeper who dislike bees. They want the best for bee welfare, and I have met hundreds more beekeepers than any vegan ever has. So yeah, the vegans to portray that actually specialists in the topics are acting like vegan SJWs. Yeah, that's my interpretation. That's what beekeepers want. Further, beekeepers, though, yeah, honeybees are thriving because beekeepers are keeping them alive and healthy. That's what beekeepers want. Further, beekeepers don't eat the bees, nor do they make furniture out of them, and that's more that can be said about Don Watson and his relationship with trees. Well, that's a large great thanks to Sir Mikasa. So basically, Ron Mikasa is a geophysicist, a proper scientist from Canada. Yeah. So thank you a lot, dear sir, from your really interesting 2-year-old text, and it was enlightening seeing the bigger picture than this vegan hypocrites. Vegan hypocrites. Yeah. Not all vegans are hypocrites, of course. A lot of the vegans are converts from vegetarianism. Yeah. So yeah, this whole polarizing topic has easily been summarized here. Yeah. So thank you guys. Yeah. remember that tree